We live, coming at you live. Good to see everybody. Sorry I'm running late. I thought I scheduled this for 7:45. I guess it was 7:30. Let's go. Happy what is it? Happy Joe Biden crime family takedown day. Can we label today as the day that Joe Biden finally got arrested? So we got a little bit of time. James Comer is on Fox and Friends right now. We got that up here. We're gonna pull that up. Fox News, Fox and Friends streaming live. But the big news is coming at 9 a.m. So let's see what James Comer has to say. We good. Good to see everybody. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. Let's hope today's the day we've all been waiting for, folks. The day that the Biden crime family was no more. In my opinion, it couldn't happen to a better guy. So I just got to get my everything set up here. 1 second. No, that does me no good. There we go. Give me 1 second. I thought I was all set up and ready to go, but I wasn't. Yeah, there we go. Fox and Friends. Jeez, oh Pete's, what is going on here? What is going on here? There we go. I got it for you. Promise it's coming. It's coming. All right, we good. Let's hope you guys can you guys hear this? Let me know.
No troopers, no...
Does the president then want to go back to the border?
Come midnight, they're going to double the number they let stay in this country.
Republicans are calling it Judgment Day.
Hunter could face charges in tax.
Judgment Day. I like that.
The media is going to have to cover this influence peddling scandal.
A veteran Chicago prosecutor quitting his job. Quote, "My son, who is only 5, hears gunfire while playing at our neighborhood park. I will not raise my son here."
Back it up and walk away.
I got some bad news. They told me that I re-injured my vocal cords. I won't be able to make these festivals. I'll see you soon, and I'll be back better than ever.
It's very important that the judge can see the dog's gait properly.
So this is it right here, right now.
Best in show tonight is the PBGB.
Why did she
there goes trademark.
Get anybody? Does she feel?
Well, there's somebody on the water.
Right, but they're not together.
How do you know?
They don't seem it. Either that and had a big fight.
Fox News.
If you know, or maybe the story is I'm not going in. You're going in. Well, I'm staying out here. Well, I'm going in without you. Maybe that's the story.
Well, they're not talking, so they could be married.
Right.
Listen to these ass clowns. No wonder Fox News ratings tanking.
It's the zip code 02874. It's 44 degrees, 7% sales tax. But
man, I couldn't have made it through my day without seeing this ocean here.
Stare at that ocean,
fucking loser.
And it's great for surfers.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Right. Just no wave.
Gave us the pictures.
Rhode Island is beautiful. If you've never been, you should go.
It's tiny.
It's little.
Really smallest state. You could carpet the whole thing.
But big views in the little state.
You can carpet the entire state.
Right. You don't need
so small.
With a throw rug.
Right. It'd be very inexpensive.
Yes.
Go to TJ Maxx.
And with my family, it's the throwaway rug because my dog keeps eating. Yeah.
Or going to the bathroom.
They're hungry. Brian, you should feed them dog food.
I should. They choose to eat the other things. All right. We begin this hour with a Fox News alert. Title 42 expires less than 24 hours away.
Border communities are bracing for what could be the biggest wave of migrant crossings in our entire U.S. history.
You don't say, Captain fucking obvious.
What's the president doing? Peter Ducey joins us live from the White House. Peter, we heard a little from the president about this yesterday.
Yes, and there's been a change in language at the top here. We've gone from hearing that the Biden administration's immigration policy is going to be more humane to hearing that, at least in the near term, it's going to be more chaotic.
I spent close to an hour with the Mexican president today. We're doing all we can. It's going to be chaotic for a while.
And this is why, as Bill Melugin tweeted, Congressman Tony Gonzalez says the president of Guatemala told him he knows of at least 80,000 predominantly Venezuelan nationals who are making their way to the U.S. border ahead of the drop of Title 42, and that nobody at the White House would take his calls. Border cities in the U.S. expect to be overwhelmed, and Republican Senator Tim Scott is saying just reinstate Title 42. They used the threat of COVID to justify it before. Now they can use the threat of fentanyl overdoses and send border crossers back that way. We have no indication that is something Biden officials are considering. We also have no reason to think that the president plans to go survey this area that is now being helped out by 1,500 U.S. troops.
So after Title 42 ends, does the president then want to go back to the border to see the situation for himself?
I don't have any trips to preview for you.
And over the last few days, the Biden administration is teaching officials at the border a new rule. Do not let anybody in that does not request asylum in a different country like Mexico on their way to the U.S. border. And this is all playing out as the president slowly but surely launches a re-election campaign. No campaign events yet, but tonight, on the eve of Title 42 expiring, the president is going to have a fundraiser in New York. Back to you.
And
Amanda, good to see you.
This morning, Peter, that Nancy Pelosi is going to head up some committee that is involved with his reelection. I believe it was yesterday from the podium, KJP said regarding some questions about Title 42 and the lifting, we don't discuss hypotheticals here at the White House. They discuss hypotheticals at the White House all day long. I mean, they were talking about that yesterday. The president was with the debt ceiling.
Yeah, they do. And this is no longer, the Title 42 border surge is no longer a hypothetical. The people are on the way, and the policy is changing. So there's about to be a big problem. They've known that there's going to be a big problem because they sent these troops down to help with administrative tasks. But they can't change. They're not going to reinstate the policy based on everything that we've heard here. So it is no longer a hypothetical here. They have a
especially
real
when you see the pictures
issue
of so many people lined up. You know that Guatemala is sending 80,000 people. It's not hypothetical. They're coming. They're here. This is expiring soon.
No, and it was.
You know, like don't talk about the little children getting raped. Don't talk about the United States government running a child sex trafficking ring and these children being trafficked into slave camps. Let's talk about, it might be, Brian, kill me. It might be a border crisis, America. You fucktard.
Control what's happening over there. Do you know anything that came out of it?
Just that one line from the president right before they called a lid last night. But we know that they have been trying to work with Mexico to open up these offices for people to request asylum there and hang out in Mexico for a while before they get to the U.S. They don't want people just showing up at the U.S. and telling the CBP they want protection, they want asylum in the U.S. They want them to go through some kind of a process. But that's been going for years. And it hasn't really worked out yet, as we see in all this video.
No kidding. All right. Thank you very much, Peter. So it sounds like the new policies, and they've got until midnight on Thursday to figure it out. It sounds like they're going to replace Title 42 with Title 8.
This is a terrorist invasion of the United States border, plain and simple. This is exactly how the Roman Empire fell. I'm going to pull that up here right now.
Just like everything in our lives now,
Fuckheads.
The federal government is going to want all those people lined up there in Brownsville before they get to Texas. Use the app. Just use the app. It's going to be so much easier, and you're going to have to use it in your home country. You might have a consulate. Let's figure it out. Just stop with these images. In other words, the administration is going to continue the open door policy, but we won't have these images because people are going to come in a different fashion. They're not going to be wading across the Rio Grande Valley.
Well, think if you're an immigrant and you want to come to the U.S., you know this is your chance. It could be your chance to come because Title 42 is ending. So you would get in that line. So that we do expect an influx, and Border Patrol is saying they're expecting to be overwhelmed. You have even blue cities that are worried about this now, blue sanctuary cities. You have Lori Lightfoot, who's issuing a state of emergency because of all the influx there in Chicago. The city and state have provided emergency care for 8,000 migrants. And
Lori Lightfoot got fired, didn't she?
Government's much needed federal funds.
So she said it was a state of emergency yesterday after. You know how many people arrived yesterday in Chicago?
48.
48 arrived in Chicago, and she called it a state of emergency. There are 48 that come into this country every 15 seconds. It's crazy.
Right now, there's just under 10,000 a day coming through, and you have 16,000 waiting in Tijuana, 35,000 waiting in Juarez. You have another 2,000 in Brownsville, just ready to cross tomorrow. So this is going to be something we've never even seen before.
I think we need to take up arms and go to the border.
Now, keep in mind, too,
I'm ready.
I'm wondering the bigger picture. Is this their policy?
If these fucks aren't going to secure our border, American patriots need to rise up. arm up, and go down there and secure the fucking border. This is getting absolutely ridiculous. These motherfuckers got to go. I'm so pissed off right now.
That the president of Guatemala can't get anyone in the White House
on the
phone. You got to be kidding me. I'm not asking for a visit. I have 80,000 passing through my country. What do you want me to do with them? And what could you incentivize me to help you out with? I'm not even talking. Katie Hobbs, Democratic governor, I'm getting no answers. It's insufficient. Senator Sinema, and you have Congressman Henry Cuellar. This administration is just not here. Then you have a policy, immigration policy proposal that would finish the wall, would build up the ports, would add additional border patrol, and it's dead on arrival in the Senate before it's even voted on in the House.
This is such bullshit, in my opinion. Absolute bullshit. Mike Mining KDA says, borders for Ukraine. We defend the Ukrainian borders, but screw the U.S. borders. This is an absolute clown world. People are trying on their own. I say we arm up and go to the border. Anybody ready to start that movement? Let's take our fucking country back, man. I'm so sick of pussyfooting around. Let's start building a militia. Let's get our shit together, and let's get down to that motherfucking border. This is fucking bullshit, man. We're going to let these cocksucking motherfuckers steal all of our money, steal everything from us. Now they're going to flood our country with a bunch of fucking migrants, and we're supposed to work 2 jobs and pay taxes to fund these motherfuckers? This is fucking bullshit, man. People need to start getting fucking pissed and waking the fuck up.
Video we just showed a minute ago. Could we put that back up where those people are crawling under the stone, under the tree? They're down the ravine. They're wading across the Matamoros River. And as you can see right here, you just got to wonder how many people, and we will never know this number, how many people died trying to come into this country because essentially Joe Biden said, hey, you can't come. But of course, the message was you can come. How many people drowned trying to get to the other side of that river because they knew that the way things worked, once they touch America, they're going to stay here forever.
And what are their stories? You know, do they have fentanyl in some of these bags? Are these just moms trying to give their kids
it's so
a better
dangerous.
life? Is it sex trafficking?
You don't need an MRI to see what's in that backpack. Just know that the money that they paid the cartels to get there, they used to traffic drugs. The gotaways are close to $2 million.
$10,000 a head, boys.
$6 million that this administration has let come into this country. Ken Cuccinelli was just with us. He was the former acting deputy secretary of Department of Homeland Security, and he put this in perspective.
There's nothing to compare to historically ever at any point. This is blowing the doors off it. And just taking Title 42 off, a lot of our folks don't realize that even the Biden administration was returning about half of the people they were catching invading our country. So with no change in the flow, come midnight on Thursday, they're going to double the number they let stay in this country. The border, as much as people are coming through it now, is also a bit of a dam where people are building up on the other side. And that dam is going to intentionally be broken by the President of the United States on midnight on Thursday.
So it's going to be chaotic. As we just detailed, Ainsley brought this up a moment ago. The city of Chicago has already declared a state of emergency because of the migrants. There's also a former state's attorney from Cook County who says it's an emergency. It's a bad situation. Said, my 5-year-old son, he hears gunfire all day long, and there's drug dealing going on in my backyard. According to Jason Pohe, he wrote a letter to the Chicago Contrarian, and he said, I got to get out of town for my family.
Yeah, you don't say, you jackass. Well, maybe if you guys didn't spread propaganda and push fake news and the fucking tranny agenda all gosh damn day, maybe people who reported the real news, we wouldn't have this fucking problem going on. This is an absolute embarrassment. I can't stand these motherfuckers,
quiet
man.
Corner of the suburbs. Now my son, who's only 5, hears gunfire while playing in our neighborhood park, and a drug dealer is open air selling behind my house, the second one in 2 years. I will not raise my son here. My own employer has turned it into a place from which I am no longer proud to be, and in which my son is not safe. If it were just me to consider, I'd stick it out. I've been through enough stupid state's attorney policies before, but this office's complete failure to even think for a moment before rushing into one popular political agenda after another has put my family directly in harm's way.
Right, and if there's not more Jasons, this will just be one voice. There has to be a mass exodus of qualified, impressive people leaving these cities because they're horribly run, and their lifestyle and their security can't be guaranteed, or at least back to where it was. At least there was some sanctioning. I also look at the fact, you're looking at what's happened to the subway. You're seeing what's happening with these protests in favor of the guy with 44 arrests who's already punched women and punched men in subways, attacking them, and then he finally gets put into a submission hold and sadly loses his life. And you have 6 days of nonstop protest for the recidivist criminal, the schizophrenic who walked himself right out of a mental institution, right onto the subway, creating havoc. Now you have grocers teaming together to demand people crack down on shoplifters because we have to, right now, the NYPD not empowered to stop it, or else they're going to have to close their doors. To me, it's so obvious right and wrong. There's no more gray area.
I wonder where that guy's going to move. Florida?
Oh, the guy
like Scott
who
Baio?
put him in the chokehold.
The prosecutor. Where's he going to go?
Oh, I see. The prosecutor from Chicago.
Yeah.
With the 5-year-old son. I don't know. He didn't say that in the letter.
He didn't.
Also,
I think he wants it to be a secret.
Our governor is issuing an executive order. Which allows, because this one policy expires this week, it allows National Guard members to help with the migrants here in the state. So she'll bring in 500 National Guards.
Wow, 500 people in camouflage not to do anything and to ruin their lives and pull them out of their normal jobs. Fantastic. Meanwhile, we have counties fighting with New York City as we put these illegal immigrants from county to county somewhere in New York, and the governor sits there on her hands and tries to go to the defense of this lunatic in the subway. Rockland and Orange County. They say, we are not sanctuary counties. You are, Eric Adams. Right. Stop shipping your people here. We don't have, and without telling us, our hotels are not ready. So war between the counties in New York about what's happening at the border. Nuts.
The voice in my ear tells me that prosecutor from Chicago has moved to Wisconsin.
You know, people need to be getting armed up because what Mike just said, or who just said that? Who gave them cell phones? Amanda Collins says this very point. Who gave them all cell phones that they want to use apps to communicate with these terrorists? Is our government, is the Biden administration literally arming a bunch of terrorists that are coming across our border and providing them with cell phones and lines of communication? So when his Biden crime family is exposed, he has an army of terrorists right over here that are going to come after every single American. We have no idea if these are terrorists. They're running child sex trafficking rings. There's people being murdered and slaughtered, and all behind the Biden crime family.
Press conference detailing its findings on the Biden family's business dealings. Republicans calling it Judgment Day. Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says he'll release bank records at today's press conference. This comes as the president's son, Hunter, could face criminal tax fraud charges out of the years-long investigation into his finances. Congressman Comer will be joining us later this hour to discuss.
And what is that shit? He's going to be joining us later to discuss. Oh, maybe his tax fraud. Are you blind, lady? There are 459 crimes that Hunter Biden committed. And you pansies are talking about, oh, maybe tax fraud, after James Comer just came on your network last week and said that the tax fraud, all the three crimes that she keeps talking about, what is it? Tax fraud, tax evasion, not paying child support, and some other bullshit. Those are the tip of the iceberg. James Comer said it's the entire Biden crime family. And this little woke bitch wants to talk about fucking, oh, it might be some tax fraud. This is the worst example of this news, and everybody's getting so fucking fed up with it. Even Tucker says it's all a lie. Everything you're watching on Fox News or any mainstream media outlet is all fake. If any one of these pussies speaks out and speaks their mind, they're going to get canned and canceled. And we're going to get kicked off YouTube today, I can already tell.
Yourself.
Well, we have a family tradition.
But you can always personalize it. You can always just add to the hallmark.
That's what I do.
Right? You just say it's like...
Just their name at the top?
Yeah.
Would you do this?
That.
Circle the words you really like.
Yeah. I underline the phrases that are really important.
Like with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a lot of people are going to use AI because it's free.
I know.
And they will include the name. You know, it's... What rhymes
the
with
problem
birth?
is that I don't want to say, by the way, I don't want to, you can't tell the person that it's AI. You got to say, I was staring into the
Why
distance.
would you do that?
I mean, they would be
I was staring at the ocean and this poem came to me. For the first time in my life, I wrote a poem.
I love
it. Just so happened that I have...
It's great. They wrote a poem with Fox and Friends in it.
Right. And then all of a sudden they
wakes
go,
up-
show me your phone. If I see the chatbot app, GPT, you're in trouble.
Mom doesn't know what
during
a
this
chatbot
commercial. Do
app
one
is.
for Dawn. Say, write me a poem for
Yeah.
Dawn.
Should I?
Yeah, I want to see.
Ryan,
what it
right?
says.
Okay, I'll do it in the
Have
break.
it do that, and make sure you use Kilmeade in it.
Yes.
Let's see what it looks like.
All right.
Look up
And do I change it or like when I print it out? Do I circle it?
AI is going to make it perfect.
Okay. I can't wait to see
in
what
the coming
I write.
hour on Fox.
I can't wait to see what
Top
I
of the 8 o'clock hour.
All right. Happy Mother's Day. soon.
42 minutes until Brian's
Whatever I
call.
mean, I'm about to find out.
Don't forget, it's Tuesday. Buy a nice gift
Yes.
for your mom.
Still ahead. It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Murder, She Wrote. A Utah woman, widow, who authored a children's book on grief after her husband's death, accused of poisoning him. Nancy Grace joins us to react. Plus, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis taking a major step towards a presidential run. We'll tell you what it is.
Oh, yeah,
as the
Kilmeade.
music gets louder.
Oh yeah, Kilmeade. That's exactly it. Yeah, stroke your boy DeSantis. How much is Paul Ryan, Jeb Bush, the deep state? How much are they paying you, Kilmeade? How many kickbacks are you getting from the CIA or the FBI to push their DeSantis loving agenda down our throat? DeSantis is doing worse in the polls than any runner up in the polls ever has. He's absolutely the worst. There's not anybody within even 40 points of Trump. They don't stand a chance, and yet they're going to try to funnel and piss away $100 million. And who's endorsed DeSantis? Nobody. Like, what, DeSantis endorsements versus Trump's? You guys want to look it up? There's that copyrighted music on these commercials, so I figure we'll jump over here and say what up to everybody for a second. Man, I get so heated up over this shit. I am so sick of watching fake news after fake news after fake news. We got this evidence. We have this evidence. We have this evidence. We have this evidence. We have these bank records. We have these bank records. You have an unlimited disposal. And then now we're seeing George Santos, because he spoke out against the CCP and he made the CCP his number one enemy. And then all of a sudden, magically, George Santos is indicted 2 days after he swears to take down the Chinese Communist Party. So if you didn't think our politicians were rotten and corrupt to the core, imagine that. Hunter Biden's been smoking crack with hookers. He's been having sex with Lady Gaga while smoking crack. And this is all on camera, along with sleeping with minors, underage women, sleeping with Obama's daughter, doing cocaine with all of them. And this is all the evidence that is absolutely rock solid proof fact in the Hunter Biden laptop. He's been selling us out to China. His dad's been taking kickbacks, 10% from the big guy. And yet, if I speak about it, I'm going to get deplatformed for spreading misinformation. No, Alex Jones was right about everything. The deep state takes down anybody that gets in their way, plain and simple. And Hunter Biden's over here smoking crack with underage girls and having sex with his fucking family members. This incest freak bastard. And we're supposed to be over here like, oh, I wonder if Hunter's going to get arrested today. Yeah, America, great. Open borders, children getting raped, children getting sex trafficked. 6 million more migrants are about to flood into our country. They're destroying our country. We're going to have no border. You're going to have drug dealers and junkies outside of your house fucking and shitting in the streets of your fucking neighborhood. All because nobody in this country has enough balls to stand the fuck up and take our country back. Because if you don't, you're going to lose everything. Your family's going to lose everything, and your children are going to grow up homeless on the streets that their founding fathers conquered. This is fucking bullshit, man. This is fucking America. And we're sitting here like a bunch of punk little woke bitches not doing a gosh damn thing. And I'm so fed up with it. It's like every day is fucking depressing. Every day I wake up and I'm like, well, is today going to be the day where somebody, one of these leaders in this country, steps up with the fucking balls and does something? And please, anybody, any leader, any politician, or are they just going to grift, raise our taxes, put in 15-minute cities, allow BlackRock and the Chinese Communist Party to destroy the Constitution? We got borders wide open. We got women and children being sex trafficked. 85,000 missing fucking children have funneled into this country because of our communist government, because of the Joe Biden administration. And not one of these fake news reporters has the fucking balls to pick up a camera on a Fox News' dime and get their asses to the fucking border and report. It is utterly disgusting. It is embarrassing. And it goes against everything that our founding fathers fought for. Period, plain and simple. These politicians work for us, and the people need to wake the fuck up and realize that. McCarthy has no power. Biden has no power. Military, none of them have any fucking power unless we give it to them. Period. That is how our Constitution is wrote. No judge can take that away. Nobody can take away our God-given rights. Nobody can take our guns away. Shall not infringe, motherfuckers. Gosh damn it, man. So fucking heated over this shit. It's so fucking annoying. I'm so sick of sitting here every morning and waking up like, oh, I wonder if our country is going to be completely burnt to the fucking ground. We have intel coming out from former FBI agents saying that our government is working with terrorist organizations trying to kill American fucking citizens, and nobody's doing a gosh damn thing about it. And we got to talk about some other fucking bullshit.
Grief after the death of her husband has been charged now with his murder. Police say 33-year-old Corey Richens poisoned her husband Eric with a lethal dose of fentanyl. Earlier this year, she released that book right there, Are You With Me?, in his honor, dedicating the picture book to her late spouse, writing, "To my amazing husband and a wonderful father." Fox Nation host Nancy Grace joins us now to discuss. Nancy, what do you know?
Well, first of all, word of advice, if you're going to kill your spouse, don't write a book about it and go on local TV pushing it. I watched the interview she gave on local TV, pushing her book on Amazon and wherever else it was found, and it was incredibly touching. And the things she said in that interview, knowing what I know now from reading this arrest warrant, turned my stomach. This isn't the first time, according to this arrest warrant, she tried to kill her husband, leaving behind 3 children at the time of his death, 9, 7, and 5 years old, to live without a father. 3 little boys. 3 years ago, they were in Greece. He frantically calls his sister, Eric calls his sister and says, "I think she tried to kill me." And he was violently ill. They're going to have to corroborate that somehow, of course, with transatlantic phone calls and medical attention in Greece. But he stayed with her, doubting himself. Then we learn, according to the arrest warrant, she contacted an acquaintance, who I now know to be a confidential informant, to buy oxycodone pills, $900 worth. Then he got ill again from a Moscow Mule. He probably couldn't taste it because there is ginger beer, which is very strong, has a strong taste, vodka in a Moscow Mule. He has to have EpiPen and Benadryl. He's horribly sick. She tries to change his will, his life insurance policy. Long story short, that didn't work on Valentine's Day. He didn't die the way she thought he would, according to police. So she buys more fentanyl, and just after that, he's dead. 5 times a lethal dosage of fentanyl in his system, according to the medical examiner.
And didn't friends say, didn't he tell friends, if something happens
she's not
to
my
me,
wife.
You know why. It was my wife. Look into my wife.
You know, the first time that happened to me, and it happened multiple times when I was prosecuting murders, that's exactly what he said. And it's a very eerie feeling because it's as if the victim is trying to speak to us from beyond. He left all sorts of clues. Why he did not leave her, I'm not sure. I think because he didn't believe what was happening and he didn't want to leave his children. He did tell friends, if anything happens to me, it's her.
Well,
Big Mike, man, I appreciate you so much, man. He says, can't run away from this anymore. Moving away isn't going to save you. Time to stand up. Do whatever you can. Let's go. Time to make a stand. I couldn't agree more, Mike. I'm so riled up over this shit. I'm so sick of watching these terrorists destroy our country. Who we got up here? 38 Wheel says, the problem, Ryan, is if you do stand up and head to the street, this scumbag administration and their lapdog media will use it as a reason to demise you. I don't care, 38 Wheels. I don't give a fuck anymore. No, they don't work for us. When there's enough of us coming together, we win, period. That's exactly what they want you to think. Look at, okay, so BLM terrorists and these protesters in New York City can go out there and stop subways and burn the country down and get support, but we can't do anything? No. We need to make our voice bigger than theirs, period. Oh, perfect time to cut to a commercial break. Comer's coming on right after this. And then at 9 a.m. is the big announcement. This is live TV, so I can't fast forward through it. And it was just on right when I went live, so we had to play catch up and come back through all this news, but the big indictment news comes at 9 a.m. I don't know exactly where Comer is going to be sharing that news at. I assume Fox News, unfortunately. Be nice if he was on somewhere else. But yeah, man, we have to take, it's just sickening. Amanda Collins, I agree. The woman's voice is annoying as hell. Vicky, it is. Yeah, Nancy Grace, I cannot stand her. You guys remember when it's funny, right? The Casey Anthony trial, when a little kid gets murdered and it's a white kid and the mother murdered the child, or there's suspicion that the mother murdered the child, our entire country shuts down for what, like 2 years, while the Casey Anthony case is broadcasted on mainstream television every single day, day in, day out. But yet, do we see the Hunter Biden trial? Did we see the Hunter Biden child support trial? Was that broadcasted on news? Is this Hunter Biden trial going to be broadcasted on news? Is this investigation going to be broadcasted on mainstream news? Or how about the 85,000 children that are being sex trafficked and molested by these fucking cartels that our government is aiding and abetting? Imagine that. Imagine that. Joe Biden administration is working with terrorist organizations to destroy our country, and the politicians in power are going to sit by and not only not stop them, but they're going to aid and abet in it. Aid and abet it. And we're just going to sit by and let this happen to our country. Really? This is a shitty commercial. It is a shitty commercial. Commercial break in progress. We'll be right back. Thanks, Fox News. Yeah, did you see Maxine? Did anybody see the Epstein trial? Oh, shit. Oh, damn it. I totally wanted to save that. Shit. Well, that was a lot of work just went bye-bye. Shit. That sucks. Yeah, where was the Jeffrey Epstein trial? Anybody see the Jeffrey Epstein trial on blasted across TV every single day? No? All right. Well, until that happens, you know who's running this country. The largest sex trafficking / human trafficking / escort service / rapist / criminal cartel at the highest level, extorting politicians because they're pedophiles. And yet that's not on TV. Brian, right? Arm yourselves and dress as drag queens. You'll be just fine. Brian, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. We got to go guerrilla warfare on these motherfuckers. All the dudes got to put in wigs on. We all go out in blue hair dye. That would be the way to do it. Just put some blue hair dye in, and let's go take our fucking country back. They want a blue wave. Let's give them a fucking blue wave. Legit. A blue wave of patriots. We'll go red, white, and blue. That's the way to do it, Brian. Let's paint all of our hair blue. Let's put on masks. And let's go and arm ourselves and go take our fucking country back. I'm so sick of standing by and watching this country just burn to the fucking ground while these terrorists and these paid shills. What? Kind of shit is that? I only got to pass for 15 more minutes. What kind of bullshit is that? James Comer was on here right when I was getting ready to go live. I mean, are they cutting clips over here of it already?
$90% off with free shipping. Want to know what other guys are saying about RexMD.com?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Story at all. I mean, color me totally unsurprised. Hillary, I worked with Hillary. I'm not revealing state secrets or anything, but to say she's ambitious may be understatement of the millennium. She can, if she doesn't have power, her whole life revolves around being.
Oh, that was 2020. Why the hell? That was 2018. Why are we watching clips from 2018? Is that the last time Fox and Friends posted? Oh, if it is. Fox and Friends, the last time they posted on Fox and Friends Twitter was 2018. Weird. They must have got deplatformed or something. I don't know. Or it's an old Fox and Friends. I can't tell. Let's see if they put anything over here on it. We are following the money, and all roads lead to Joe Biden. Wait, what the hell is that? Kaylee McEnany? LSU, death, Madison Brooks family. Oh, thought that was Kaylee. So where's James Comer going to be at 9 a.m.? Fox News, James Comer retweeted. Rep James Comer, House oversight at 9 a.m. So we got about 30 minutes, give or take, 35 minutes before this investigation is going to kick off. So I pray that we're actually going to get to watch it on TV. Watch live only on May 10th, 9 a.m. at cspan.org. All right, so we need to set us some alarms. We'll be ready at 9 a.m. Let's jump over and take a look at some other shit for a minute and hang out. Throw on some jams and kick it for a second. I'll get you guys a better screen here. I wonder if they're planning to crash the stock markets today because they need a big distraction. That's the question everybody should be asking: is what distraction are these terrorists really willing to come up with? I was going through this yesterday. I was looking at so this is the constitutional basis for impeaching any Democrat who won't protect the border. With most of the mainstream media dancing to be the dumbest or to the drumbeat of impeach President Trump, you probably haven't heard much about another impeachment effort. This target was House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and its popularity is suddenly rocketing. So I opened up this article yesterday, and it says White House petition to boot Pelosi surpasses 100,000 signatures. Just imagine, and this was on January 29th of 2019 at 3:13 p.m. So instead of our politicians removing Nancy Pelosi, nope, the deep state backed her. The swamp came out and did what the swamp does, and they started attacking President Trump so that President Trump's indictment and impeachment over-trumped removing Nancy Pelosi. And then Nancy Pelosi went on to amass a $130 million net worth at the expense of every American citizen. So your house got more expensive. She did insider trader deals. She was working with regulators and trading stock market and trading stocks in industries where she was working hand in hand with the regulators to pass legislation that would directly manipulate the market, which then in return caused inflation to go up. Do you know how less inflation we would have if we didn't let corporations buy houses? They're talking about passing those bills over in Ireland right now, preventing big businesses and corporations from buying up residential real estate, period. How much cheaper would your house be if BlackRock didn't own everything on your block? And what are they doing? They're burning down California. Why are they burning down California? Why? Because they know you want to live there. And they know that property's expensive. And they know that they can't make billions and billions of dollars if they're paying these prices for real estate. So they're going to burn the entire state of California to the ground till where nobody wants to live there. And then as soon as BlackRock's ready, as soon as property prices collapse, as soon as nobody wants to live there, BlackRock's going to go in. They're going to buy up all the property. They're going to put in their own armies or militaries, or they're going to start funneling millions and if not billions of dollars, or not billions, but millions and millions of dollars into police reform. They're going to re-police. They're going to lock everybody up, and they're going to rebuild, and they're going to own the entire state of California. And it's going to be a billionaire's playground. That's exactly what's going to happen. They want your property. They want your land, and they want it for dirt cheap. After you just worked your entire life, busted your ass, worked 2 jobs, work overtime, you finally got to a position in life where you can afford to buy a house. If you bought it in the last year and a half, you bought it in peak formation. You literally bought it at the top of the worst housing market bubble in the history of the world. You're already probably, how much, anybody buy a house in the last year in here? How much are you behind on your house right now? Not behind on bills, but how much has your house lost in value since you purchased it? My son's mom bought a house maybe 6 months ago, I would say. She bought a house 6 months ago for $400,000. It's already worth $350,000. And I bet they'd be lucky. They'd have a hard time finding somebody that would pay them $350,000 for it right now in this market, which is just insane to me. Every time I go to my parents' neighborhood, there's just more and more houses for sale. Man, Cadania is 80 cents right now. Holy shnikes. This is crazy. Bitcoin's doing all right. So Bitcoin's coming back up. Golden Cross is still continuing. I still think we're going to come down to that 26,000, but maybe not. Maybe it goes up here and we stay at the 27 range. As the 50-day moving average comes up, we'll have to see. What else we got going on? Let's jump over here and see what Gateway Pundit has breaking this morning. Isn't it funny? Like, this is the biggest breaking news story in the history of the world, and nobody wants to touch it. So, breaking: DOJ files charges against GOP rep George Santos. The Justice Department filed criminal charges against GOP rep George Santos in NYC, according to a leak to CNN. According to a leak to CNN. Wow, it's funny how all of this magically leaks always to the left-wing media outlets. Santos will appear in federal court on Wednesday, according to the outlet. So he already got charged, and a few days later, he's showing up in court. The nature of charges are unclear, however. Federal investigators were probing possible campaign finance violations. What? The Democratic Party, their entire campaign was illegally financed. Federal prosecutors have filed criminal charges against New York Rep. George Santos, the Republican lawmaker whose astonishing pattern of lies and fabrication stunned everyone, even hardened politics. According to 3 sources familiar with the matter, Santos is expected to appear as soon as Wednesday at federal court in New York Eastern District, where the charges have been filed under seal. The exact nature of the charges couldn't immediately be learned, but the FBI and the Department of Justice public integrity prosecutors in New York and Washington have been examining allegations of false statements in Santos' campaign finance filings and other claims. Earlier this year, Speaker House McCarthy told reporters that George Santos will be removed from Congress if it is determined the freshman rep broke the law. George Santos flipped New York's 3rd congressional district red in November when he defeated Robert Zimmerman. In December, Santos admitted he lied about his education, employment history, and Jewish background in an interview with the New York Post. "I am not a criminal," Santos said during his exclusive interviews. "This controversy will not deter me from having good legislative success. I will be effective. I will be good. My sins here are embellishing my resume. I'm sorry," Santos said Monday to the Post. Federal prosecutors were investigating George Santos' sudden wealth after he admitted to embellishing his resume. It's such a scam. It's such a freaking scam. So yesterday, George Santos, last week, declared that the CCP was his public enemy number 1, that he would not stop. And he doesn't care if he lost his job in Congress. If he was going to do one thing, it was going to be exposing the Chinese Communist Party. George Santos needs to be on every single mainstream media outlet in the world. Everyone, every mainstream media outlet, he should be on every talk show, everything, and just going, look at it, guys. It doesn't matter what I did. They're coming after me because I'm going after the Chinese Communist Party, and all roads lead back to Beijing. Every one of them. Tucker came back. You know, the Manhattan grand jury reaches indictment on Trump. Oh, wow. Here's another one. Nebraska high school star athlete dies unexpectedly after collapsing during track practice. A Nebraska high school track athlete has died suddenly after experiencing medical emergency during practice, his high school confirmed. At Pillinger High School, senior Hunter Palmer, 18, died after collapsing during track practice on Friday, days before he was set to graduate. It is unclear the cause of death. Hunter passed away unexpectedly on Friday, May 5th, 2023, at Franciscan Healthcare in West Point, New England. According to Minnick Funeral Home, Palmer's school released a statement following his unexpected death. It is with a very heavy heart. Yeah. The multi-sport athlete signed with Midland University for football, which competes in the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletes. Blah, 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 blah. Did he get vaccinated? That's all I wanted to know. Yeah, he'll be missed. Poor kid, man. Poor kid. I'd almost guarantee he's vaccinated. Judgment Day for the Biden administration. Judgment Day for the Biden administration. Rep. James Comer teases what to expect on Wednesday's press conference. House Committee and Oversight and Accountability Chairman James Comer joined Sunday morning features with Marie Baltimero, where he sent a message to the Department of Justice saying, do not indict Hunter before Wednesday. During the interview, Rep. Comer announced that he will hold a press conference on Wednesday, May 10th at 9 a.m., along with lawmakers and a panel including Senator Chuck Grassley, to provide an update on the investigation into the Biden family influence peddling to enrich themselves and announce next investigation actions. Comer said he will disclose specific Biden family bank records during the press conference, which could indicate alleged bribery from foreign adversaries. Senator Grassley and I received a tip on whistleblower. Senator Grassley was the lead in this. We reviewed documents from the legally protected whistleblower, a highly credible whistleblower that would implicate Joe Biden in a pay-per-play scheme in trying to set up a deal to receive funds for him and his family in exchange for foreign policy decisions, Comer told Baltimero. Now that fits a pattern, Maria, of what we have seen with these bank records. And on Wednesday, we're going to present to the American people all of the information that we have received thus far pertaining to bank records. We're going to disclose many of the different LLCs, many of the different transactions that all these different Biden family members have gotten from our adversaries around the world. Representative Comer appeared on Fox News Primetime Tomorrow with Jesse Waters on Tuesday, saying we will see hard evidence of the Biden family's organized crime unit. While tomorrow, Wednesday, for the first time, the American people are going to see actual bank records that show wire transfers from adversaries around the world into a web of LLCs that are owned or controlled by the Bidens. And then those transfers were made back into the Biden family account, said Comer. Woo! Let's go, baby. So this is one reason the Biden family received so many bank violations that are known as suspicious activity reports, because the banks knew that it wasn't normal business activity. But we're going to see whether or not Joe Biden was telling the truth when he said that his family never received any money from China. We're going to see tomorrow whether or not Joe Biden knew about his family's business dealings, and which we know that he said several times that he didn't. So I think tomorrow is going to be judgment day for the Biden administration, Comer added. Take a look at what Jesse Waters says.
Oversight Chairman James Comer joins us now with more. What can you tell us, Congressman, about what you're going to be showcasing tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow, for the first time, the American people are going to see actual bank records that show wire transfers from adversaries around the world into a web of LLCs that were owned or controlled by the Bidens. And then those transfers were made back into the Biden family accounts. So this was one reason the Biden family received so many of the bank violations that are known as suspicious activity reports, because the banks knew that this wasn't normal business activity. But we're going to see whether or not tomorrow, Jesse, Joe Biden was telling the truth when he said that his family never received any money from China. We're going to see tomorrow whether or not Joe Biden knew about his family's business dealings, which we know that he said several times that he didn't. So I think tomorrow is going to be judgment day for the Biden administration, the Biden White House, and I'm anxious to see how the mainstream media covers this.
Or covers it up. Congressman, do any of those bank records show cash going directly into Joe Biden's bank account?
Well, you'll see tomorrow, Jesse, they set this up to be as complicated as possible, to make it as difficult as possible to do two things. Number one, trace where the sender was, and secondly, to deceive the IRS. So this is like an organized crime unit, the way that they've set up this litany of LLCs, and they didn't make transfers directly to Biden families. They would transfer from one LLC to another LLC and then make a wire to one Biden, then a wire to the Biden's LLC. I mean, it's just I've never seen activity like this, and I've been involved in banking for a long time. They were clearly trying to cover up the source of the money, and they were certainly trying to protect the big guy.
And what was the business that the Biden family was owning and operating precisely?
That's the million-dollar question, Jesse. I have looked, I have read, our staff has pored over it. We have talked to associates of Hunter Biden, people that were involved in some of these shady business schemes, and I have yet to determine one credible business. It appears to me, Jesse, the businesses were shell companies set up to launder money from foreign nationals into Biden family's back pocket. Wow. That's what it appears to me. But the Bidens will obviously, after tomorrow, after we release this information that we've been able to gather at a really rapid pace in less than 100 days of subpoena power, and they'll have an opportunity to explain themselves. But I can tell you, Jesse, they're going to have a lot of explaining to do, especially to the hardworking, tax-paying Americans who work over 40 hours a week and struggle to pay their bills. And they're going to see that the Biden family, the entire family, has been putting millions and millions of dollars in their back pockets from our enemies around the world. So I think they're going to have a lot of explaining to do.
All right, we'll see what they have after you guys showcase this at 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll have that on Fox. Congressman, thank you so much.
Woo! We got 22 minutes, boys and girls. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button while you guys are in the show. Share this everywhere. Good morning, Ray. Good to see everybody. Let's jump over in the live chat and say what up to everybody. How y'all doing on this beautiful, beautiful, what is today, Wednesday morning? You guys ready? I couldn't be more excited. I'm going fishing with my little boy today. We're gonna go catch some fish, hang out, enjoy the weather, enjoy this day. And hopefully I get to do so just knowing to myself that the Joe Biden crime family is about to go down in flames. I'm a bit behind, but only state trials are televised. Federals aren't allowed to be. Really, Gibber? I think we need to change that. I think when we take this country back, I think all political trials with anybody that's being charged with anything political should be mandatory, that there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not up to the judge to determine whether we get to advertise our political criminals on mainstream TV. I think that we need to have death penalties for everything that they are doing. If you are caught of selling out our country or doing business with our known adversaries, aka the Chinese Communist Party, when did America start allowing or start letting it just continuing to do business with countries that are literally killing their citizens? Like, you guys think it's bad over here. I mean, in China, they lock you up and throw you into a metal cage in the back of the car, rip your children right out of your arms. And they'll shoot your family right in the streets, right in front of you, for just doing anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It's almost amazing to see. Why can I not hear my music right now? Did I mess something up? Normally I'm able to listen to my music with you guys, but right now I'm not for some reason. Weird. Weird. Mic check. Mic check. Yeah, weird. I can't do it right now. Super weird. I have to hear myself talking if I'm listening to music. What about now? Oh, weird. That one I don't have to on that one. Weird. I don't echo on this one either. Nothing other than treason, Anthony says. No proof, no nothing. Get to sue Trump and get 5 million. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Thank you, Amanda. This is a good morning. Savita. What up, Savita? Am I saying that right? Savita? Saivada in the house. Good to see you. Paul, what up, my friend? Baffles me. Paul says, baffles me. No big so-called celebrities, sports stars, none of them have the balls to speak out. And this unfolds. Yeah, you know, that Freedom guy, that NBA player that stepped up, man, he's really, he stepped up and started talking and exposing China, and then he no longer can play in the NBA. Let's see, NBA's our freedom. Let's jump back over here. Let's see. He exposed something in China. Chinese football star. Meet NBA player who is taking on China and LeBron James. This was from 2021. Corruption scandal deals new blow to Xi Jinping. I hear that it sounds like that Xi Jinping's his reign on terror is falling apart. People are stepping back up against the World Economic Forum. So NBA skills got him to the NBA. Activism made his name. Oh, bullshit. The New York Times. What loser pays for the New York Times? I swear I cannot imagine any, you know you're blind and you're still asleep if you're paying the New York Times to read their paper. Chinese football star and officials held in Xi's corruption crackdown. Corruption scandal deals new blow to Xi Jinping's Chinese football dreams. Xi's anti-corruption drive has taken aim at floundering domestic games, with at least 4 leading industry officials in trouble since November. Clampdown is arguably the biggest corruption investigation ever in Chinese football, says Beijing-based sports consulate. Oh yeah, another one. South China Morning Post. Yo, use pepper cheese sticks to catch big catfish. Pepper cheese sticks to catch big catfish. I like that, Rick. Only idiots who watch The View read the rag. Yeah, they do. Could you imagine like how miserable your life must be if you watch The View every morning? Like how depressing, and how you'd have to hate America. Freedom. It doesn't take a rocket science to realize why I got little playtime and was released. Freedom has been an outspoken critic of the Chinese government and those who deem to be sympathetic towards China. Freedom has also fallen out of the NBA after 11 years in the league. The center began the same season with the Celtics, but played a career low 12 minutes per game. They traded him to the Rockets, who waived him. I don't want to retire at the age of 29, from said. Sometimes he added, sacrifice is a very important word, so there are bigger things. And they're talking about this man. He was speaking out. He wore some shoes that basically said stop organ harvesting. He had it like painted on the side of his shoes in China. So basically this guy's a rock star. Been playing in the NBA for 11 years, and now they're gonna force him out. No team will sign him. That's how controlled the NBA. The NBA, an American sports league, is more worried about pleasing China and the Communist Party Xi Jinping than they are. Like, my dad watches it and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you watching the NBA? You are supporting the indoctrination of your children. You're supporting the Chinese Communist Party. You're supporting everything that's wrong with America. And you're going to do that. Why? Like, what is the purpose? Preview has been paused. Suck my balls. We got a little bit of Nancy Pelosi news. So this was, I was trying to dig into like what did the Constitution say? Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasions and an application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislative cannot be convened against domestic violence. Unfortunately, efforts of states recoup costs resulting from the current invasion of illegal aliens has so far failed. An Arizona case on this matter was rejected in 1997. The Arizona Republican Article of Justice rejected state bids to recoup cost of illegals. Yeah, I said funny. Says you can get, Mike Miney says funny. You can get 50K people into a stadium to watch a football game and fight each other over a team, but you can't get 50,000 people in the streets to save the United States. That's it. It literally blows your mind. Does it not? Vicky, good to see you. Amanda Collins, happy Wednesday. Tell us how you really feel. Oh, I was doing that earlier. I'm gonna have to take down this stream after it ends. I already feel like we should move it over to Rumble. Because if the Bidens are not in handcuffs, like this is how you know how much of America is caring about what's happening right now. Let's check out a little. Let's do a little bit of our own investigative research right here. So what happened around... Did anything bad in this country happen around... Oh, this is today. Uh-oh, baby. Uh-oh. Hunter Biden's trending. What terrorist attack is going to happen in the United States that's going to make a big enough distraction? And this is in every state. Oh, shit. Sex trafficking breakout topic. Brett Favre. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light sales breakout topics related to Hunter Biden. That's just in the past day. Let's check out the past 30 days. Oh man, they're gonna have to do something big. Yeah, look at those trends. I swear that the cartels and the deep state, they use the analytics of what they're tracking and all these real-time data points, and they know exactly when when somebody needs to get shot, when there needs to be a protest, when some innocent person needs to die, based off the search volume and these trends. Now, Arkansas is the biggest. So I wonder what's going on in Arkansas. Let's see how many residents Biden supports. Amanda Collins says, let's see how many residents Biden supporters would do when these people come into their neighborhoods and start terrorism. It's crazy. A million illegals storming the border, Vicky says. All for one reason. May 4th, Biden crime was at an all-time high. Did anything crazy happen on May 4th? Because somehow it went from trending in all these different states, but these states don't even care about it. Biden crime family. April 25th. Did anything crazy happen on April 25th? Sarah Huckabee. Something's going on in Arizona with Sarah Huckabee. Dark Brandon was trending. Dark Brandon. No, I didn't, Mike. No, I didn't. Mike, will you send me a link on Twitter? All right, we got 10 minutes. Let me go grab another coffee real quick. Let me what do you guys want to watch here? Let me just pull something up on YouTube for a second.
And we begin this Sunday morning with the very serious allegations leveled at a sitting president of the United States. A deep dive and breaking news this morning into claims of influence peddling and selling out America while pocketing cash for himself and his family, and the impact to U.S. national security. Here's House Oversight Committee Chairman Congressman James Comer with me on Friday morning on Fox Business's Mornings with Maria. Watch.
Based on the fact that 9 different Biden family members
have been receiving payments from a web of LLCs that are receiving payments from our adversaries around the world. This fits a pattern of questionable behavior that the Biden family members have been doing to receive funds. So we take this whistleblower claim very seriously. We know it exists. We know the FBI has the document. I can tell you this, the Biden family have received a lot of payment from the Chinese Communist Party, from entities that are state-owned entities.
Chairman Comer sending a subpoena to FBI Director Christopher Wray to testify and to produce a document in the FBI's possession that, quote, describes an alleged criminal scheme involving then Vice President Biden and a foreign national relating to the exchange of money for policy decisions. This comes as Secretary of State Anthony Blinken denies he pushed for 51 intelligence officials to sign a letter calling the Biden laptop Russian disinformation right before the election, and then lied about it under oath, as Senator Ron Johnson told us right here last week.
Anthony Blinken finally did come in and sit down for a voluntary transcribed interview in December of 2020 because he wanted to be Secretary of State. And now because of more information that's come out, we know that he lied bold-faced to Congress about never emailing Hunter Biden. My guess is he told a bunch of other lies that hopefully we'll be able to bring him and his wife back in, tell them to preserve their records.
It wasn't my idea, didn't ask for it, didn't solicit it, and I think the testimony that the former Deputy Director of the CIA, Mike Morrell, put forward confirms that.
Joining me right now with more on all of this in this Sunday morning exclusive interview is House Oversight Committee Chairman, Kentucky Congressman James Comer. Mr. Chairman, thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning.
What can you tell us about this latest investigation of influence peddling on a sitting president? I know that you're planning a press conference this Wednesday. What will we learn?
Well, Senator Grassley and I received a tip on a whistleblower. Senator Grassley was the lead in this. We reviewed documents from the legally protected whistleblower, highly credible whistleblower that would implicate Joe Biden in a pay-for-play scheme, in trying to set up a deal to receive funds to he and his family in exchange for foreign policy decisions. Now, that fits a pattern, Maria, of what we've seen with these bank records. And on Wednesday, we're going to present to the American people all the information that we've received thus far pertaining to bank records. We're going to disclose many of the different LLCs, many of the different transactions that all these different Biden family members have gotten from our adversaries around the world. Now, we don't believe this was just a coincidence that all these Biden family members were receiving money from this web of LLCs into their personal bank accounts. We believe this was done in exchange for something that then Vice President Biden and now President Biden would have done. So this whistleblower is going to provide some very crucial information to our investigation, and we've given the FBI until May the 10th to produce this document. So the ball is in the FBI's court with respect to this whistleblower.
You are sure that this document exists?
100%.
What if they don't release the document by May 10th? What if they decide to indict Hunter Biden for having a gun illegally before your press conference?
My message to the Department of Justice is very loud and clear. Do not indict Hunter Biden before Wednesday, when you have the opportunity to see the evidence that the House Oversight Committee will produce with respect to the web of LLCs, with respect to the number of adversarial countries that this family influence peddled in. This is not just about the president's son. This is about the entire Biden family, including the president of the United States. So we believe there are a whole lot of accounts that the IRS and the DOJ don't know about because we don't believe they've done a whole lot of digging in this. And we have. We've spent the past 100 days poring over bank documents. I've used subpoena power to get these bank documents. We've been meeting with former associates of the Biden and their different influence peddling schemes. We've been meeting with whistleblowers. We know exactly what this family was doing. And by all accounts from the media reports that we're getting, what they're looking at charging Hunter Biden on is a slap on the wrist. It's a drop in the bucket. So Wednesday will be a very big day for the American people in getting the facts presented to them so that they can know the truth. And then the Department of Justice can finally do what they should have done years ago.
What?
Well, obviously, the president's sons committed many crimes. I mean, you're looking at potential money laundering. Jonathan Turley comes on Fox all the time and talks about he was essentially a foreign agent for countries like China. He's an unregistered foreign agent. Those are serious crimes. You've got the possible racketeering. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And again, Maria, it's not just the president's son. And we don't believe these countries were paying the Biden family for nothing. We believe they were getting a return on their investment, and the return on the investment would have been policy decisions for then Vice President Joe Biden and current President Joe Biden.
How much money do you?
Y'all get some time. Swing over. Y'all want some really fantastic coffee? Swing over to the LFA merch store. This Rise Up coffee is this American pecan. It is absolutely fantastic. So we got 2 minutes. The show is supposed to be starting. I just submitted my email. I don't know if this is the video or if this is supposed to be starting now. It's supposed to be starting at 9 a.m. So I'm just really curious on where they're going to be. Are they really only going to play this over on C-SPAN? I could try to pull up a channel on YouTube and see if it's going to be on the C-SPAN's YouTube channel. Like, you would think that this would be on C-SPAN. You would think that it would be live, like 100% live right now. They got any live plans? Oh, they'll stream the Correspondence Dinner, but gosh forbid, who owns C-SPAN? I would really love to know who owns C-SPAN. Because this is bullshit. I just want to watch this damn video. I just submitted my email to see if they'll send me an email, because they're supposed to send emails 5 minutes before it starts, but yeah, I can't find them. Hey, have a good one, Mike. Have a good one, buddy. Let's see if James Comer posted about it over I'm just curious on where. Okay, here it is. Here it is. It is on YouTube. Sweet. No effing way. What a fucking joke, man. Like, really? Are you really going to throttle my channel right now? Because of this bullshit. There's no way. Unless I got... What the fucking kidding me? Oh, maybe I got more shit open here. Let me close. There we go. We back. We back. All right. We back. I was like, there's no effing way they're going to freeze my channel when this is happening. There's just no way. They are going to. It's exactly what they're going to try to do. They're gonna bog down the internet now. What a fucking joke, man. What an absolute effing joke. Oh, well, that could be it. I could have 30 tabs open. that might hurt me. Wow, look at how hard every time, like right when the conference is supposed to start, they start bogging down the internet nationwide. And this is Xfinity now. What a joke, man. We got it playing live, so we'll see. I'm recording it anyway, so. The biggest day in American history, and of course the internet's going to go down. Magically, everybody's just going to have internet issues right when the Biden crime family is supposed to come on TV. Heather Evans, good to see you. Heather Evans says it got Jeremy on the big screen. Is Jeremy covering this right now, or is he doing Rise Up? Yeah, we got a big shows going on over on LFA TV all day. We got Sean Farash at 10 a.m. Ungoverned. At 11 a.m., we got Jeremy Harold live from America. At 9 a.m., they got Rise Up with Jeremy Harold. That's starting right now. So if you guys are big on the LFA channel, Jeremy's going to be live right now. 10 a.m., we got Sean Farash Ungoverned. 11 a.m., Jeremy Harold live from America. 12 a.m. or 12 p.m., we got Mike Crispy Unafraid. 1 p.m., we got Loud Majority with Kevin Smith. At 3 p.m., or at 2 p.m., we got Yours Truly and Matter of Fact. At 3 p.m., we got Wrong Think with Anna Perez. I absolutely love her show. She's absolutely killing it. And then let's throw some jams on here. And then at, what time is it? And then at 4 p.m., we got Moody with Isabella. Her show's Off the Hook. And then after that, we have Live from America with Jeremy Harold again. And then at 6 p.m., we got Will Johnson and Culture Wars. I say those so many times a day. You would think I'd actually get them down, but they're all there at the bottom of the screen. So streaming exclusively on Rumble, the true free speech platform. I bought Starlink, Rick. I bought Starlink because my grandparents are getting old. So I was going to go set up a studio at their house. So like 1 or 2 days a week, I could go out there and stream from their house. And I went through all the whole headache of setting up Starlink. I even got, because they had AT&T internet. And I was like, oh, AT&T internet's the same anywhere, right? So I'm like, oh, at least if my grandparents have AT&T internet, I can just upgrade. You know, they probably have the smallest package because they don't need much. But I was like, at least if they have it, I'll be able to upgrade their AT&T. So I was like, all right. Because my family's all over and I'm like the only one that actually kind of works from home and I could actually go out there and spend time and help my grandpa take care of my grandma because she's got dementia. So I was like, all right, a couple days a week, I'll go out there. I'll move a studio out there. I'll get internet installed. And worst case, I'll order Starlink just in case. And I was like, I'm going to get the travel or the RV Starlink just because I want to be able to take it if I, rent an RV or we do anything with LFA TV and I want to just leave and travel and grab a bus or whatever. I want to be able to have internet wherever I go. So I ordered Starlink anyways, and I went out there and I called AT&T. I was like, hey, can you guys upgrade the internet? Like, what are the speeds? And she goes, well, you're getting 12 right now. And I'm like, 12 what? I'm like, 12 upload or download. She goes, it's just one number. And I go, so you telling me that my upload speeds are going to be 12? She, yep. And I go, well, what's the fastest? And she goes, you can do 25. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like I can stream at 12, but 25, 20 is really good. That way, when we hit times like this and the network gets overloaded and your speeds drop, at least you still have a backup. So you can make it through tough times like this. And so I called them like, yeah, we can't get out there till Friday. And this was on like this was on like a Saturday. And they said they couldn't get out to do it till Friday. So I was like, all right, screw it. I went and got because I have like 3 studios at my one house. So I was like, I'm just going to move one of my studios out there. That way I can stay out there and stream. So I moved my whole studio out there, got it all set up. I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to set up Starlink anyways, just in case I need it. And you can always pull it off. I just ran it outside up through the roof. I had to actually router out like notches in the door and notches in the window so I could like run the wires and get the Ethernet cable or whatever you want to call it, the power cable from the satellite over to my studio. So I got it all set up, spent a whole weekend doing it, got the whole studio, everything, desk, lights, cameras, mic, everything, fire up the computer. And Starlink's not enough. Starlink wasn't enough. And that same day, AT&T, that same Friday, the AT&T guy came out and they tried to connect and upgrade me. They couldn't even upgrade me from 12 to 25. And it wasn't 12, 12. It was 12, 1. So my upload speeds were 1. And then when they upgraded it, it was supposed to be 25 and 2. So the highest you can actually get out there is like 5 upload speed. And at the very, very minimum to stream out, I think I need at least 5. And I need like consistent 5. So in reality, you need 10. So when your network is 50% of what they say it is. Yeah. So yeah, I did all that. Starlink doesn't have enough to stream. You know, what's funny is though, I tore it down. I tore everything down before I tested streaming with, before I tested streaming through something like Restream. So, and I'm so pissed at myself for doing that because I don't want to go set everything else back up there to try it. But in order to test it, right? Like I could stream out if I just had like a plain background. Like if I didn't have anything moving across the bottom of the stream and I was just talking and showing a still picture, I could have streamed. But as soon as I started playing a video, I couldn't. So like you kind of have to have your studio set up so you can kind of determine how much bandwidth you need and how much content you're going to be pushing out. So unless you set up your whole studio and you have music playing and like you're going to run a normal stream, you can't really test it out. I mean, I guess I could just take a video of like Tucker Carlson and like a clip or record a video of me and just try to stream out the video. Starlink is great, Peter. It really was. But for streaming, it's like this close. So Elon just came out with a new satellite. It's $2,500 just to buy the dish. And then it's $500 a month for service. But that would be enough bandwidth for you to stream on. Now you might have been able to use something like Restream, where your program connects to basically a virtual program online. And it like somehow it compresses your footage a lot more, so you don't need as much bandwidth. But for like what I wanted to do on LFA TV, it just wouldn't work. So C-SPAN completely corrupt? I would think so, Shelby. I think everything is corrupt. I think everything that we thought we knew was a lie. I think history was a giant lie. I think that every war we've been involved with, the United States has been a bad person. I think all these, yeah, Santos being arrested. What a joke. What an absolute joke. Let's see if we can get Ava in here from the new federal state of China. We're ready, baby. Ryan, read above. I gotcha. Gotcha, Shelby. Oh, here we come. So Shelby says, yo, Ryan, I just reached out. Who owns C-SPAN? It's ran by a board of companies called the NCNC. Those members at AT&T, Verizon, Comcast, and more. WHI are top shareholders of those, BlackRock and Vanguard. They would be. What a joke. Why can't we hear anything?
All right.
There we go. We on, baby.
Thank you all for coming today. Since taking the gavel in January, the Committee on Oversight and Accountability has accelerated its investigation of the Biden family's domestic and international business practices that we began last Congress. I want to be clear. This committee is investigating President Biden and his family's shady business deals that capitalize on Joe Biden's public office and risked our country's national security. This committee has a duty to ask questions and pursue the facts, no matter where they take us. Through the committee's investigation, we intend to provide transparency to the American people and reach legislative solutions. In only 4 months since obtaining subpoena authority, we have made astonishing progress. Today, we'll talk about that progress. First, we want to discuss information the committee has learned since our last press conference in November. New information investigators have uncovered regarding the transfer of money from foreign entities to the Biden family. Many of the wire payments occurred while Joe Biden was vice president and leading the United States efforts in these countries. First instance, while Vice President Biden was lecturing Romania on anti-corruption policies, in reality, he was a walking billboard for his son and family to collect money. Hunter Biden and his associates capitalized on a lucrative financial relationship with a Romanian national who was under investigation for and later convicted of corruption in Romania. The Bidens received over $1 million for the deal, and 16 of the 17 payments to their associates' account that funneled the Biden's money occurred while Joe Biden was vice president. In fact, the money stops flowing from the Romanian national soon after Joe Biden leaves the vice presidency. This is a pattern of influence peddling. This appears separate from any payment Hunter received from his work connecting this individual
to a U.S. law firm. We'll also provide further information regarding the Bidens' relationship with China. This includes 2 individuals the committee is particularly concerned about. One of them, Xi Jinping, had close ties to the highest levels of the Chinese Communist Party and operated a multi-billion-dollar energy company with access to large sums of money. We'll discuss how the Bidens received millions of dollars from this individual through the use of shell companies and wire transfers. In March, the committee released its first bank records memorandum that showed a Biden associate, Rob Walker, used his company to funnel money from the Chinese to various Biden family members.
Yes.
Democrats dismissed the evidence, even though it was based on bank records directly from the bank. The Democrats on the Oversight Committee received the same records as the Republicans, and they were able to verify the information. Democrats said all the bank records showed were Papa John's and Starbucks receipts. They deliberately chose to misconstrue and deny what was clearly in front of them. Hunter Biden's representatives claimed the money was, quote, good faith seed funds, but could not explain why those funds had to go through an intermediary in what appears to be an attempt to hide the transfers from the Chinese. They also couldn't explain why the Bidens received over $1 million in 16 different wire transfers over a period of 3 months to at least 5 different banks. The president, when confronted with this information, said it wasn't true. Instead of being honest with the American people, President Biden has claimed since the 2020 election that his family has not received money from China. That was a lie in 2020, and he continues to lie to the American people now. The Bidens have received millions of dollars from China. It is inconceivable that the president did not know it. The White House refuses to correct the president's statements, showing the president is now using the federal government to run interference for his families and his own role in these schemes. Now I want to say a few remarks about the developments last week. A week ago, I sent a subpoena to the FBI for a form that a whistleblower has alleged is in the FBI's possession. We hope the FBI will be transparent and forthcoming and provide the Oversight Committee with the 1023 form we have subpoenaed. If they do, the committee will assess the form it has subpoenaed from the FBI, and has been my practice. We will report to you only facts when they are verified and indisputable. This committee will not pursue witch hunts or string the American people along for years with false promises of evidence that is beyond circumstantial evidence, as Representative Adam Schiff and the Democrats did for years. I trust the whistleblower. A subpoena from this committee is a powerful tool that I do not take lightly. The level of detail provided to Senator Grassley led me to conclude a subpoena was warranted, and I stand by that assessment. I will say this. When Senator Grassley approached me with the information the whistleblower provided, it was because of the information we've learned through this committee's own investigation that indicated to me the whistleblower's allegations are consistent with our independent findings. Those findings are what I called you here today to discuss. The committee has reviewed thousands of bank records from individuals and companies affiliated with the Bidens and their associates. It has received these bank records pursuant to 4 subpoenas I've issued to different banks. These were targeted and specific subpoenas, and each was different based on the information we believed the banks possessed. Every one of those subpoenas returned valuable information that had been unreported and that contributed to this committee's understanding of how the Bidens conducted their businesses. The committee is concerned by the complicated, suspicious network of over 20 companies we have identified the Bidens and their associates used to enrich themselves. Most of these companies were limited liability companies formed during Joe Biden's vice presidency. The bank records show the Biden family, their associates, and their companies received over $10 million from foreign nationals and their companies. Some of that money came from a Chinese company and went to Hunter Biden's company. Other transfers occurred with the help of Rob Walker, who then sent it on to different Biden family members. This is not how lawful businesses operate. Chinese nationals affiliated with the Bidens created limited liability companies in the United States and then in a short period of time transferred their interest to a Chinese company that sent money to the Bidens. This is not normal. Hunter Biden and his associates courted business in countries that correlated directly with Joe Biden's work as vice president. This is also not normal. It is not ethical. And this is why we need legislative solutions. Our purpose here is to provide legislative solutions to prevent this unethical behavior from ever happening again. This investigation is about investigating allegations of corruption and fraud at the highest levels of the federal government. This should be a bipartisan issue. This committee is considering legislation that would ensure these sorts of business practices do not continue for Democrats or Republicans. Specifically, the committee is crafting legislative solutions aimed at deficiencies it has identified in ethics laws and disclosure laws for immediate family members of Vice President and the President. These deficiencies potentially place American national security and American interest at risk. Additionally, the committee is considering legislation that would strengthen reporting requirements related to certain foreign transactions involving senior elected officials' family members. Finally, the committee is evaluating the Bank Secrecy Act and anti-money laundering laws to determine whether financial institutions have the available tools and support from federal agencies to thwart illegal money laundering and foreign corruption activity. As I said, I'm very pleased with the progress the committee is making in this investigation. However, due to the information we're releasing today and further developments the committee is aware of, the investigation will enter a new phase now that is armed with information obtained in the bank records. I will soon issue a new round of subpoenas to banks for specific targeted information. I will also provide one more opportunity for certain Biden associates, including his art gallerist and Rob Walker, to cooperate willingly with this investigation. Finally, I am publicly releasing the second bank accounts memorandum to the American people so they can see for themselves the activities the Biden family is engaged in, despite the president's statement to the contrary. I want to thank the people and financial institutions that have cooperated with this investigation so far. I also want to encourage more people to come forward and let them know that their information will be kept private and confidential. To my Democrat colleagues, I want to say that this investigation will continue to move forward. Do you want to continue covering up the Biden's influence peddling schemes when the evidence is being placed right in front of you? With or without Democrat support, we will continue working to deliver the answers, transparency, and accountability that the American people deserve. I now turn to Andy Biggs, who will provide some information.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. We appreciate your leadership on this very, very significant issue to the direction of this country, and we appreciate your leadership. I appreciate my colleagues who are here today, and also the great staff that has done such incredible work on behalf of this committee in reviewing these records and helping us to obtain them. Thank you. And thank you to those of you who are here from the media today. So when we talk about the Biden family and associates, I think it's important for the American people to understand what we mean when we're talking about these associates. What are we really getting at? First, they use them as vehicles to move money directly into Biden family accounts. Why is that? It's because they were looking to obfuscate and hide where the money was coming from. For example, the Bidens used their associate Rob Walker to bring in millions of dollars from China and Romania. Walker's limited liability company, Robinson Walker LLC, paid Hunter, James, Hallie, and others in the Biden network more than $2 million after foreign money hit his account. 1/3 to the Bidens. That was the pattern. For example, on March 1st, 2017, only 2 months after Joe Biden left office, Robinson Walker received a $3 million wire from State Energy HK Limited, a Chinese entity. The next day, 1/3 of that money, $1,065,000, went to the bank account in Abu Dhabi of the company EEIG, which was controlled by James Gilliat, another Biden associate. Over the next 3 months, Robinson Walker LLC sent 16 incremental payments to over 5 different Biden accounts totaling $1,065,692. This included payments to James Biden, who received 5 wires and over $50,000, who did no discernible work to earn that money. A third to Gilliar, a third to the Bidens. What was State Energy HK Limited? That is a second class of Biden associates, the people from whom the Bidens conducted business. State Energy HK Limited was a company controlled by Jame. Yi was a Chinese billionaire who was reportedly the former Deputy Secretary Counsel for an international outreach arm for the People's Liberation Army. It's called the China Association for International Friendly Contact. According to a U.S. agency, that organization is a platform for deploying undercover intelligence gatherers. Chairman Yi started an energy company called CEFC, China. Yi explained in a speech to the committee that the committee has obtained and translated into English that CEFC China's vision is very simple. It is to obtain overseas resources and serve the national strategy. Not U.S. national strategy, Chinese national strategy. And Chinese national strategy is Chinese Communist Party's strategy.
Yep.
Yi was close to Chinese President Xi Jinping and welcomed at least one foreign president to Beijing with Xi. The DOJ has referenced Yi and CEFC in a scheme bribing African leaders. The other Chinese national I'll mention now is Gong Wendong, who did work for Yi in America. When Yi needed to do business in America, he often looked to Gong Wendong. The amount of money Yi was sending to Gong Wendong was staggering. From June through August of 2017 alone, Yi transferred to Gong Wendong in America more than $130 million. Yi met with Hunter Biden in February 2017 and gave him a diamond reportedly worth tens of thousands of dollars as a gift. In August of 2017, Yi, through Gong Wendong, opened up a business with Hunter and James Biden called Hudson West 3, based here in Washington, D.C. And Hunter wanted to get Joe Biden's keys to the office, and they could all share office space together, according to an email verified by the Washington Post. But things didn't go as planned because the Chinese detained Yi in March of 2018 for fraud. In an email to Gong Wendong and another associate, Hunter tried to explain away the last year of doing business together. This is an email that has also been verified by the Washington Post. Hunter wrote, and I quote, "I am not in a joint venture with CEFC. I'm not partners with CEFC, and I'm not employed nor funded by CEFC." Close quote. But Hunter was funded by CEFC, as Ms. Mace will explain. I'm extremely concerned about the president's connections to these individuals he was supposedly meant to share office space with, and is denied knowing anything about these transactions and these business dealings, and also is denied receiving any money for himself or his family from Chinese connections. That has been proven to be a lie. And I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Next we have Ms. Mace.
Thank you, Chairman Comer, for your leadership. In less than 100 days of subpoena power, this has been one of the most in-depth investigations the House Oversight Committee has ever had in recent history. And I would hope that the media here today would put as much attention and interest and focus on this as they have a former president. For years, the left has said, no one is above the law. Well, put your money where your mouth is and prove that, because the American people do not trust the federal government. They don't trust Congress. They don't even trust current presidents because of the kind of possible and alleged corruption that we see at every level of government, and no one is ever held to account. I try to call the balls and strikes regardless of whether or not you have an R or a D by your name. I've been accused, all of us have been, over this particular issue that we're conspiracy theorists. We're not. What we're proving to you today is showing you actual bank records, actual evidence of shell companies and businesses, or more businesses and more Bidens involved than we knew of. You have to issue more subpoenas because Every time we turn over a rock, there's more information, there's more possible corruption, there's more possible allegations that need to be investigated. This is what we know today. Money flowed from the Chinese Communist Party, aligned with individuals into American shell companies, and then that money was wired and transferred to Biden family members. This could be the most corrupt scheme in American politics, where a sitting vice president, where we saw members of his family, 9 members so far, there may be more, that were enriched from countries all over the world. And we're providing more information about Romania today. We know about China. We know that the president denied this during an election in 2020, continues to deny it to this day. And we want everyone held accountable if they have violated their oath of office. We shouldn't have folks that are in office that are betraying their oath of office. We shouldn't have people in office that are betraying their country. If they're paying loads of cash to their family members from adversaries of ours around the world, it's wrong, whether you have a Republican or a Democrat by your name. And we saw evidence of intentionally taking steps to hide the sources of money coming directly from China through a series of financial gymnastics. Joe Biden's political career was winding down at the time, and this was one of the Biden family's last chances to cash in on the name. We have evidence of Chairman Jame, who is believed to be affiliated with Chinese Communist Party intelligence organizations and has even been accused of gathering intel for Communist China. Yi started CEFC in China. His agent in America, Gong Wendong, which Andy Biggs mentioned earlier, formed CEFC Infrastructure Investment US on May 11th, 2017. On May 18th of 2017, Dong used one of his Chinese companies, Shanghuaxin, to fund CEFC infrastructure in an attempt to hide the source of the money. And you see this pattern repeated over and over and over again. On June 30th, 2017, Shanghai Huaxin sent $10 million from China to CEFC infrastructure. Then on August 4th, 2017, CEFC infrastructure wired $100,000 directly to Hunter Biden's own corporation, Owasco PC. Hunter's Owasco also received $500,000 from another entity affiliated with Yi, State Energy HK Limited. State Energy HK appears to be part of Yi's personal slush fund that potentially commit bribery and launder money. The Chinese Communist Party affiliated entities may have bought influence with the Bidens that they couldn't get otherwise, and obviously for good reason. These alleged layering schemes are repetitive. They knew what they were doing, they knew how to do it, and they did it multiple times all over the world. If it looks complicated and sounds complicated, it was intentionally made to be complicated so you could not follow the money. What we're trying to do today is show you how to follow the money. The Committee of Oversight, we need to pursue the Chinese relationship with the Serbian politician Vuk Jeremic, who first attempted to introduce Yi to the Bidens in 2015. From August 2015 to June of 2016, State Energy HK paid Jeremic's company $3 million. When Jeremic ran for UN Security General, related to the elections for UN Security General. The meeting appears to have happened because on July 2nd, 2016, Jeremic informed Hunter that my meeting, quote, with Colin did not last very long, but it didn't go too bad, I think. What is suboptimal is that the office of the vice president seems to be outside the decision-making loop on the UN Security General elections issue. These people didn't come to Hunter Biden because he understood world politics or that he was experienced in it, or that he understood Chinese businesses. They wanted him for the access his last name gave them. Access to the Chinese Communist Party they couldn't otherwise get. In March of 2017, the same Chinese company that sent $3 million to Vuk Jeremic sent $3 million to one of Biden's associates, who siphoned off 30%. As Amy Biggs mentioned, we see that repeated over and over again. Siphoned off 30% or $1 million to Hunter Biden, James Biden, Hallie Biden, why she would need that, and an unknown Biden bank account. The committee has written to Vuk Jeremic and Rob Walker, but they have both refused to cooperate with the Oversight Committee. The Biden family needs to answer for this, and the DOJ needs to get off its ass and investigate. We've done the work for them so they can't screw it up now. If these allegations, any of these allegations are proven true, then someone with the last name Biden needs to be charged, prosecuted, maybe spend a little time in prison to take to account and responsible for the actions they've taken today. Also, as mentioned by the chairman, I want to thank you, the legislative priorities we have of our committee. This is not a witch hunt. This is not a conspiracy theory. If there are anti-corruption laws that need to be made stronger, we will also do that. And I appreciate your time today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next we have Representative Armstrong.
Well, thank you, Chairman Comer, and thanks for everybody for all the hard work. One of the common responses we hear about this investigation is that it all happened after Joe Biden left office. But that is not true. I'm going to detail a specific set of payments made to members of the Biden family from Gabriel Popovich during Joe Biden's time as vice president. The committee has obtained the bank records for one of the companies of a close Biden associate, Rob Walker. Walker used his company, Robinson Walker LLC, to receive money from foreign companies. He then sent the money to various Bidens, including Hunter Biden, James Biden, Hallie Biden, and another Biden account. Walker's LLC received 17 payments from Bladen Enterprises Limited. The first payment was made in November of 2015, and the last payment happened in May of 2017. 16 of the 17 payments occurred while Joe Biden was vice president. Bladen Enterprises is affiliated with Romanian businessman Gabriel Popovich. Popovich is a Romanian businessman who, at the time of these payments, was subject of a high-profile corruption investigation. In fact, he was convicted of one such obstruction charge in 2016. Popovich's company paid Walker LLC just over $3 million. And like clockwork, Walker dispersed approximately $1 million of that money to the Bidens. If that sounds familiar, it should. It's essentially the same structure Walker and the Biden family had with the Chinese money, a 1/3 cut. So what were the vice president's duties related to Romania at this time? Well, in May of 2014, Vice President Biden visited Romania and delivered a speech about corruption, saying it can represent a clear and present danger not only to a nation's economy, but to its very national security. And in September of 2015, Vice President Biden welcomed the Romanian president to the White House, and they spoke about anti-corruption policies. 5 weeks later, after the White House meeting, Rob Walker's company's bank accounts began receiving payments from Popovich's company. Walker then sent a portion of each installment payment to Hunter Biden's business, Owasco, and another company, EEIG, which was owned by close Hunter Biden associate James Gilliard. Another Biden bank account that Hunter claims is his, and in one case, $10,000 to Hallie Biden. Let's be clear. The $3 million sent to Rob Walker and dispersed to the Biden family appears completely separate and distinct from legal work performed by the law firm associated with Hunter Biden. This is simply not how legal fees are paid. I spent 10 years collecting legal fees. Nobody would pay or receive payments this way. It makes absolutely no sense. And again, the structure is the same as the Chinese payments. If it's for legal fees, why are the deals the same? In fact, it's very hard to come up with any legitimate business reason to conduct transactions in this type of complex way. Why would separate payments go to Hunter Biden's business and to himself individually? Why would Walker transfer money from his business account to his personal account before distributing the money? Why are other Biden family receiving any of these payments? We need to understand more about this $3 million deal, but it's clear that the pattern shows two separate foreign countries paid millions of dollars through Walker, of which the Biden family received a 1/3 cut. These payments, their timing, the complexity of the money transactions all warrant further investigation into a possible influencing and peddling scheme. This is simply not how legitimate business is conducted. And the fact that Vice President Joe Biden was lecturing the Romanian people about corruption while his family was being paid over $1 million from a Romanian businessman who was being prosecuted for corruption would be laughable if it wasn't so troubling. Long time ago, I had a client got stopped. He had $50,000 in cash, 11 burner phones, and a bunch of pawn shop money tickets in his car. And when he came in to see me and I took him as a client, I said, "You have a problem." That is easy to understand. Financial transactions amongst 17 different shell companies, banks all over the world are complex. We get it. But the pattern is emerging, and there is no reason that legitimate business is ever conducted in this matter. And with that.
Thank you, Representative Donald. Next we have Representative Donald.
CNN puppet.
Thank you, Chairman. Thanks for being here, everybody. Look, a couple things. First, what we're seeing here, what we're witnessing with the Biden family, frankly, is just a web of concealment, of deception. So a lot of people would say corruption. But let's be very clear. You have this many companies involved, this velocity of transactions, size of transactions. Like my colleagues have said, this is not how normal businesses operate. I had the ability with Chairman Comer and other members of the committee to go over to the Treasury building and review documents. And having read those documents, one thing became pretty crystal clear, that there were many people who had serious questions about the transactions and about the velocity of these transactions, and they either get very, very, very deep into concealment, hiding money, shifting money, and for the purpose, we don't know, because one thing everybody in this room and the American people definitely know is that the Biden family doesn't really have a business. There is no business structure around this family except politics. And since Joe Biden has spent decades in the Senate, served 8 years as vice president, and is now president of the United States, and the family's getting money from various countries and foreign businesses through various shell companies and this web of LLCs. I mean, guys, you in the press, this is easy pickings. I'm giving you Pulitzer stuff here. Like, all you have to do is literally look at our memo and see the level of detail upon which they have created this. And it's very, very frustrating. We have now been able to clearly see that the Biden's associates, like Rob Walker, Eric Sherman, has been discussed, created at least 16 companies while Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. 16 companies created while he was vice president. Now the list is 20, and as we continue our investigation, that list is growing. And like I said before, the question is, to serve what purpose? And the purpose of all these companies being created is to conceal money that the Biden family has been gaining because Joe Biden has been sitting at the upper echelon of our politics for almost 5 decades. That is the entire purpose here. Here's an example of what I mean. You have Rosemont Seneca Partners, Rosemont Seneca Advisors, Rosemont Seneca Technology Partners, RSP Holdings, RSTP2 Alpha, RSTP2 Bravo, Rosemont Seneca Thornton, Rosemont Seneca Bohai. I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Bohai, B-O-H-A-I. And the list goes on and on. Cycling through this many companies serves no legitimate purpose. And as somebody who actually worked in banking, I did that long before I came here. Whenever there was like this many companies just laying all over the place, and you see wire transfers and cashier checks over here going to random members of the family for no apparent purpose, at the size and velocity at which all of this was being conducted, the only logical conclusion of a financial professional is you are concealing money. Let me restate this. You are concealing money from either the IRS or from credit agencies or from other people in general. That's the only reason you set up a structure like this. Some of these companies were connected to Hunter's personal professional company, Oswego, or Skinny Atlas, Scale Atlas, however you want to pronounce it. And the list goes on. And Mr. Biggs, he talked about Hudson West 3 and some of those other issues that were going on as well. One thing I want to make sure is that all of this has happened and Joe Biden is aware. Nobody in this room can logically sit here and say that the president of the United States had no idea that these companies were being formed while he was vice president of the United States. And I will add you, he was probably in better mental shape then than he is today. I'll throw that out there. And so what this committee is going to continue to do is pursue this investigation. We are going to continue to document, and we're going to provide that information to all of you in the press. So to help you, and frankly, like Congresswoman May said, and probably help the DOJ along with their investigation. One quick note, it's interesting that the Department of Justice has been investigating Hunter Biden for quite some time, and we seem to just never really get anywhere. And so I think that's also interesting as well. I wonder what's going on at the Department of Justice. But that being said, the bottom line is there is no real business here. None. And let me also say this, because I know there are many in this room who wanted to go down all the various schemes that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle accused the former president of. Be very clear. The former president actually had a business, very big business. You could say it was his name. You could say it was his buildings. You could say it was wine. You could say it was branding. You could say it was The Apprentice. But he had a very big and legitimate business, which everybody in this room clearly knows and understands and can point to and say, that's the thing, that thing over there. Joe Biden has no business except his position in politics. And it is the requirement of this committee to investigate that. We're going to continue to do that, and we're going to let the facts speak for themselves. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Lastly, we'll have Representative Jordan.
Suspicious activity reports. The key word in that phrase is the word suspicious. There are 170 of those reports, many of them put together by the Treasury Department of our government in the Obama-Biden administration. So 170 of those that the committee has reviewed, thousands of pages of bank records the committee has reviewed, and that has told us that there are now multiple, as Mr. Donalds just said, multiple LLCs receiving money from foreign entities and paying that money out to multiple members of the Biden family. And the fundamental question is the one Byron just raised. For what? What did they do? What was the business? What service did they provide? What value did they add? What did they do to warrant receipt of the money? That is the fundamental question, and no one seems to have an answer to that fundamental question. But Mr. Comer, Chairman Comer, and the team, that's what we're looking into, trying to get. And I would just say this too, why not just come clean? Why not just be honest with us? Why not tell us the truth? But I would tell you this, I think it's a pattern with this administration. They haven't been square with us, straight with the American people about anything. They tell us the border is secure. We know it isn't. They tell us our debt ceiling bill is going to hurt veterans. No, it doesn't. Joe Biden said during the campaign that the letter from 51 former intel officials, when he used it in the debate, he portrayed it as if it was organic. And we now know through another investigation that we're all working on that, in fact, it was coordinated. That letter from 51 former intel officials was coordinated with the Biden campaign. So much so, the Biden campaign told Mike Morrell, here's the journalist we want you to have the story to, the letter to first. Why not just be straight with us? Why not come clean? Why not tell us the truth? Tell the American people the truth. They deserve that from their government. Again, the fundamental question is, what did they do to warrant the receipt of millions and millions of dollars? Why did Joe Biden's brother? Why did Joe Biden's sister-in-law? Why did Joe Biden's son? Why did so many family members get the money? What did they do to warrant receipt of that money? That's the fundamental question. Chairman Comer and the team have done great work, and they're determined to get answers to those fundamental questions.
I want to thank the committee. I want to thank the staff for all the time pouring through these documents. Now we would like to entertain questions, and I want to begin with the fourth largest newspaper in the state, who I read somewhere was banned from the White House, but we'll start with the New York Post. You're always welcome here.
I'd like to ask you two questions. First, about the investigative steps, and secondly, about the FBI informant files that you're seeking. Regarding next steps, you produced a significant amount of information so far about according to the President's family. No doubt there's going to be more to come. But are you going to be able to prove the central thesis that President Biden was directly involved in corruption without getting bank records for either President Biden, James Biden, Hunter Biden, showing the transfer of money or the payment of expenses that President Biden took that himself? And secondly, on the FBI informant file, are you going to be able to provide some more information so that President's first country came to? And is there any evidence that President Biden was involved with that?
Well, first of all, with respect to President Biden, I don't think anyone in America who's watching C-SPAN or any other network that's covering this would think that it's just a coincidence that 9 Biden family members have received money for this influence peddling scheme. I mean, what as Representative Jordan and the other speakers said, what business is there? You know, the media has always said two things. First of all, the media have said, many in the media have said that no transactions happened while Joe Biden was vice president. We've proven that wrong. Joe Biden said during 2020 that his family never took any money from China. Today, we've proven that wrong, and you have it in your memorandum, the bank transfers. So we believe that the president has been involved in this from the very beginning, obviously. We're going to continue to look. There are, what we've cited today and what we're updating you with today, 4 banks. Those result from 4 banks. We believe there are 12 banks. So right now, you could say that we're in the beginning stages of this investigation, but many of you wrote, I read your stories, many of you wrote, not the New York Post, but many of you wrote that we would never get access to bank records because that's what the White House told you. And they said we would never have access to the Treasury because that's what the White House and Jame Raskin told you. But we have the bank records. We're going to get more bank records. We just got the bank records from going through the associates. We knew there were people that were wiring money, that were accepting the initial payments from our adversaries around the world, and then they were funneling the money to the Bidens through various LLCs. So we got the bank records through the back door. And we can tell you from the people that we're meeting with that were involved with many of the schemes that we're pretty confident that the president was very knowledgeable of what his family was doing. You've seen pictures with these people. You've seen meetings. You've seen instances where the president took his son on trips during the last year of his vice presidency. And every account prior to today said, but none of those transactions happened while he was vice president. We just laid out that 16 of the 17 payments to the Bidens from Romania occurred while Joe Biden was vice president. With the second question with respect to the FBI, this is Senator Grassley's whistleblower. I've reviewed the transcript. We have given the FBI until noon today to provide that document, that very specific document. And we're going to let the ball be in the FBI's court. And then Senator Grassley and I, if the FBI for some reason does not comply with our subpoena, then Senator Grassley and I will discuss the next step. Next question.
Chairman, Mark that stuff. There's been an understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, I think we've already provided, despite a few articles saying that this committee, first, I hate to be critical of the media, but I mean, a lot of you honestly deserve it. So, but with respect, they said, well, this began in November. We had a press conference here, and at that time, I think the Associated Press and other outlets were saying that the laptop was Russian disinformation. Still at that point, they were saying that this were conspiracy theories, and they were saying that none of the money ever happened while Joe Biden was vice president. We've dismissed all of that. We have evidence. That's something, again, I don't think a lot of you are used to with respect to congressional investigation. We have evidence. And you look at the congressional scandals of the past. The press found out about it. Account 3 or 4 Biden family members received $1.3 million. Somebody yelled out, what do you think about your family receiving money from China? And he said, that's not true. And nobody pressed him again. So I don't think the media is playing the same role that it used to play with respect to investigative reporting. And it's been very difficult. We're fighting the Biden attorneys. We're fighting the DOJ. We're fighting the FBI. We're fighting a lot of the media. And we're just trying to be transparent. The White House said today that this was a political stunt. That's what little Ian Sam said. This was a political stunt by Comer. A press conference? A political stunt? We're actually giving you a memorandum with evidence. So we're trying to be transparent. We're leading a credible investigation, as Ms. May said. And I think that from a historical standpoint, we've never seen a presidential family receive these sums of money from adversaries around the world. And we're just talking about a couple of countries today. I mean, if you look at the countries that this family was influence peddling in, China's probably the most reputable country on the list, if that tells you anything. So I think we're making a lot of progress in less than 100 days. One difference between us and the work that the Senate did is we have subpoena power, and we got the bank records, and we're going to get more bank records, and we're going to have more whistleblowers come forward. A few weeks ago, last thing I'll say to answer the question, we said, I mentioned whistleblowers a couple of weeks ago, and Jame Raskin said there were no whistleblowers. There are 2 whistleblowers that come forward now, one with the IRS and one with the DOJ. So. Yeah, it would be hard for me to believe that that Hunter Biden was so charismatic that he could convince foreign nationals to wire millions of dollars into not just his account, but 8 of his family members' account. We believe that there was a return on the investment for the investment that these countries were wiring money to the various Biden family members. And why were they, why, as Representative Donald said, why would you create all these companies? I don't think a lot of people understand the complexity of these businesses. If you're doing something legitimate, if you're providing something of value, why not just get the payment directly from the payer? Why do you have to funnel it through 3 or 4 different bank accounts? So that's what there's an odd pattern that's developing here. Well, we know that the president the vice president during the last year of the Obama administration traveled around the world. He talked a lot about foreign aid in different countries, talked a lot about American policy, American assistance. And these are part of the types of policies. You look at some of the decisions that Joe Biden's made as president. There are many decisions that we would make a strong argument that put China first and America last. So these are the types of decisions, and we'll get into more of those later. Yes.
You mentioned a little bit about how I'm trying to find all the numbers. About $10 million or more. Is that what you're thinking?
So far.
So far. Mm-hmm. And of course, the White House is putting this off as trying to downplay it. What message would you have for the president?
If these were legitimate payments, and those are legitimate businesses that your family created, then I would assume you have invoices. I would assume that you would have bank, books and business models and things like that to tell us what the businesses actually were. And I think that's something. Instead of just attacking us for having the audacity to investigate this and be as transparent as we can possibly be with the media, then maybe he should answer questions as to what exactly his family did to receive this money and why so many of his family members received money. I don't think that's normal behavior. I don't think the person watching this on C-SPAN who's struggling to work over 40 hours a week, pay their bills, I don't think their family members get wires from adversaries around the world. So I think the American people understand that this stinks, and I think they appreciate what we're doing here. Annie. We're going to look at everything when we get ready to introduce the legislation to ban influence peddling. If you go back to Jimmy Carter's brother, Billy Carter, receiving money from Libya, this has been a pattern for a long time. Republicans and Democrats have both complained about presidents' families receiving money. But the way that the Bidens have set this up, there's no business. President Carter's brother got the money directly from Libya. I've already reviewed that. And Joe Biden, ironically, was on the committee that investigated President Carter's brother when that took place. The former President Trump's son-in-law had some business deals, right? As Byron Donald said, we know what his businesses were. I'm not saying whether I agreed with what he did or not, but I actually know what his businesses are. What are the Biden businesses? That's what business? What we read in the press about, well, these were legitimate business deals that were done after Joe Biden was president. That's not true. These were set up when Joe Biden was vice president. And what is the business, Annie? What business are they in? Well, since you asked, I will tell you. Joe Biden's son, Joe Biden's brother, Joe Biden's brother's wife, Hunter Biden's girlfriend or Beau Biden's widow, however you wanted to write that, Hunter Biden's ex-wife, Hunter Biden's current wife, and 3 children of the president's son and the president's brother. So we're talking about a grandchild. That's odd. Most people that work hard every day, grandchild doesn't get a wire from a foreign national or anything like that. So that'll conclude our question and answers. We're accessible. Feel free to come up to any member on the committee. We'll answer any questions you have. I want to thank Congressman Jordan for his work that they're doing with respect to the weaponization of the federal government. And I'm sure that everyone will be available to answer your questions today. Thank you.
So right now we're getting ready to do another show. Give me 1 second. Let me get everything set up. I can't even change my screen right now. So my stream's messed up right now, so I can't even end it. But I have Ava from the new federal state of China coming on our show. Some of the information, one of the persons that they spoke about here is a Chinese dissident that is a billionaire that has been missing in action, just vanished, most likely kidnapped or something by the CCP. So there's a lot. We're going to break it down. There's a lot more videos. There's a lot more evidence that you guys need to hear about. And all roads lead back to Beijing. There was 29,847 people watching this at the peak of this stream right here. So we got some good news coverage. We're going to break it down. Come join us. The link is pinned at the very top of the comments. So if you just go up to the top of the live chat comments, you can actually grab the link to the live stream. I'll share it here. It's going to take me about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to get the next stream set up. So just give me a few minutes. I promise I'll have it ready. We're going to be going deep into all the corruption and how this all points back to the CCP, and the Biden peddling influence scheme has been to sell our country out to the Chinese Communist Party so that they can destroy our country, implement martial law, and come over here and take over our country, destroy our Constitution. That's exactly why the border is wide open. All of this is one big distraction to prevent you guys from actually diving in to the Biden crime family. Thank you all. I appreciate everybody. Thank you all for sharing this video, hitting the like button. I'm most likely going to remove this video from YouTube and re-upload it over on Rumble because obviously the deep state will come after me. Love y'all. Be safe out there. Trade safe, squad. Peace. New stream will be ready in about 5 minutes. Give me 5 or 10 minutes.